Hello, everyone. I am Matthew Thomas from Super Cool Radio, and we got a really awesome featured band of the week. They are a very impressive Christian rock band out of Rockford, Michigan. Please welcome Revelation Rain.
Hello.
And making up Revelation Rain today, we got Rob on vocals and rhythm guitar, JT on lead guitar and vocals, and Grant on drum and vocals. Thank you guys for hanging out with me.
Hey, thanks for having us on.
So I like to start with a very fun question. If you were stuck on an island and you can only listen to one band, but you can listen to their whole discography, who would you listen to?
The same one, can we?
No, who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
All right. Go ahead. You take it.
You guys know who it might be?
Yeah.
I would have to say that band called Kiss would probably be my go-to. My go-to deserted island.
Yeah.
Band.
Absolutely.
Rob, what do you got for that?
Well, as much as I love Kiss as well, I kind of thought about this. If ever I was stranded someplace with only one artist, I would have to say actually it'd be Elvis. And the reason would be is because if you were stranded on an island and you wanted variety of music, I don't know of anyone that covered more genres of music than Elvis, from rock to pop, country, rhythm and blues, gospel, very Christian, Christmas music.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I mean, I could have Christmas by myself and still listen to Blue Christmas. It would be great. So I would have to say, for me, it would be Elvis.
Wow. Yeah, that's a good one.
That is a very good way you explained it.
You would get bored after a while listening to the same genre, right?
Yeah, I mean,
rock and roll is great, but
with Elvis, you get a little bit of everything.
Right. That's true. Good one. That's a good answer.
For me, it'd have to be Joe Satriani. So I've been listening to that a lot lately. Satch is the man.
Yeah.
Love his playing.
Yeah, he's all over the place.
Yeah, for sure.
Good stuff.
All very good picks. I got Motley Crue, so that's who I'll do.
Of Motley Crue.
Good stuff.
So, yeah, I got to see them on their final tour, and it was pretty cool. It was really cool.
Yeah. Were you going to see them on the stadium tour they're about to do?
A little bit out of my price range, honestly.
Yeah, it was pricey, that's for sure.
I couldn't drop like 400 and maybe be in arena. A little bit too high for me.
I'd have to get a backstage pass or VIP with that.
Yeah.
Something to sweeten the pot. 400 is a lot of money.
Yeah, it is.
So yeah, I mean, it would be cool, but I don't know. I think their final tour is just a perfect send-off.
Yeah, unfortunately, it seems like farewell tour doesn't really ever mean farewell tour.
It never does.
But it sells tickets, so there you go. That's actually what we got to do. Hey, I'm announcing right now we're doing our farewell tour. So if you want to see it,
I thought we were going to wait till Friday to announce it.
Well, no, because Friday we'll have the reunion tour.
Oh yeah, then we'll make up. We'll get reunited again.
Yeah, so it worked out perfectly.
I love it. I love it. You see Revelation Rain on their final tour, and then you get to see them on their reunion tour as well. So yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
All in one press conference.
Yeah.
It'll be a short press conference, but I love it. We broke up. Wait, we're back together.
Right.
Yeah. So I kind of want to talk about live shows. You guys have actually performed a few live shows this year. How do you prepare for a live show?
Yeah.
I'm in my own world usually. I think about the set list we're going to do, and I run through it all in my head while we're setting our gear up. Stay pretty quiet usually. That's about it.
Yeah.
Make sure I eat.
Yeah.
I got to eat something.
Yeah.
I think that's a good thing too.
Oh yeah.
And make sure he doesn't stand in front of me after he's.
Yeah.
Depending what he ate.
Yeah. Right.
Usually Taco Bell. So
oh, it's burrito night. No, you're standing over there.
Yeah. I think I don't want to speak for Grant, but I know from what I've noticed, I would be the exact opposite. And I think Grant is too. We tend to talk a mile a minute when we're getting ready for a show. And I think it's to for me anyways, to alleviate any sort of stress or anxiety. But also for me too, in the back of my mind, I'm running over song lyrics, because that's usually the one thing that I'm always worried that I'm going to forget, are song lyrics. And I do like to get something to eat, but I always eat light before we do a show. The most I'll eat on a show day is a salad, and that's just to keep me a little bit lighter on my feet, hopefully.
Basically, yeah. I mean, I try to crack jokes and make everybody laugh, feel loose, you know, and not so nervous or uptight, or, you know, just have fun. That's the number one. That's the number one thing. Just have fun. We know these songs. We played them so many times, so that part for me is, yeah, I still got to like run them through my head and make sure, you know, I know my parts, of course, but I want everyone to feel loose and comfortable, because when they're loose and comfortable, then the playing is going to come naturally, and it's going to just happen, and it's going to be great. And that's how, historically speaking, anyways. And I usually, yeah, I eat light myself. I sweat it and work it right off behind the drums. I'm usually soaked by the first song. No, just make sure everything's all in place, and, you know, no one's feeling rushed, and let's just keep that number one rule, you know, in place. You know, we're here to have fun. This is what we're doing. We're going to have fun tonight, and we're not going to have it any other way. So that's about it.
I think a lot of times, just before we go on, I'll say, at least in my head, I always try to say a quick prayer too. And at one point, we were doing a prayer before we would go on stage, and that's something that I think we should get back into. I think the past couple of shows were so rushed because we were playing on a bill with more than one band, and you had like 15 minutes to change from one band to the next, so the prayer kind of got overlooked. But I think that's something that we should definitely get back into, especially when we're playing by ourselves. But even if we don't get to do one as a band out loud, I know, at least for me, in the back of my head, I'm always saying a quick prayer, just to make sure that hopefully everything will go well.
Yeah, and I sometimes go out in the back alley and just pick a fight with some guy or girl, you know, depending on who I run to first. Get that out.
Yeah.
And then give them a CD and a sticker. Like, hey, I'm sorry, but your nose. Come on in. And now I feel ready. I'm pumped now. I really don't do that to girls.
However, band members, we're open for that. A lot of times he'll corner one of us if there's not enough people at the show.
If I got to do it, I got to do it. Yeah. You know, it's for the band.
I think my knees always hurt. He's always kicking me in the knees.
Yeah. You know, it's just, don't we have great shows when I do that?
Yeah, it's true. Shows have been good.
I say it stays.
I got a scar on my back from stabbing me with a drumstick. It was rough.
Yeah. It just gets all that tension out, and unfortunately, you know, there's we have our own fight club within Revelation Drums.
Yeah, a Christian fight club. How would you even market that?
But it's
you don't talk about it. That's a rule.
Yeah.
No physical, just, you know, we talk about it. Yeah, and then we hug and get back on stage.
How do you guys like set list for the show?
What was that?
How do you choose a set list for the show?
Well, right now, because we do all original material, the set list pretty much is depending on how long the show is.
Right.
It's typically, like, if we're playing hour and a half to 2 hours, then it's pretty much going to take up every song that we have, because we have about 20 to 25 songs right now that we can do. If it goes much past that, then we're going to start repeating stuff or doing extended guitar solos or something.
We don't like to do covers if we can help it either.
Yeah, we try to avoid covers if we can. When we play a shorter set list, like the show we mentioned a few moments ago, we had about 45 minutes to an hour to play. So then you have to drop some songs. Typically, vote on the songs. And then, you know, depending on if you're gauging the audience, that was a show where it was, you know, 3 or 4 hard rock or metal bands. So it made it easier to maybe drop a couple of the ballads that we do. So those songs were easy to drop, and then the rest of it is just we obviously want to play songs that represent the CD that we're promoting, but at the same time throw some new stuff in there so that people aren't getting only that.
And there are a couple of staples as well, you know, that we try to keep in the order, you know, in the exact order. We try to anyways. Our opener changes, and we're starting a new opener now that's just, it rocks. It's really good. It's one of the new ones. It's a good Thunderous Chug.
Thunderous Chug, yeah.
That's the nickname I gave it when we first started playing. This has got that Thunderous Chug, you know. And so you know, the ending, you know, the end of the set, the end of the night, we have a particular song that we end it with. But yeah, the single off our record, and mostly showcasing the record.
Yeah, I think too. I mean, it's a matter of pacing. You want to start the show off with a couple of songs that are obviously high intensity, but then you kind of want to bring it down for a little bit. You have to give the audience a rest, a little bit of a break. Otherwise, by the fifth song, they're already burnt out. So I think there's pacing that's involved as well. And like Grant was saying, we always end our set with "Vengeance Is Mine," which is the title track from our CD. It just lends itself to being a closing track.
It's perfect.
Yeah, and then, you know, we've altered between "New Kind of Man," which is on the CD, as an opening track, and then a new song that we're doing now that Grant mentioned is actually called "Holy," not "Thunderous Chug," but "Thunderous Chug" works too.
That'll be in parentheses.
Yeah, "Holy Thunderous Chug."
It's got a good ring to it.
It does, yeah. I like it, man.
Yeah, so, you know, typically speaking, that's pretty much how we choose a set list.
Right on. And I kind of want to, start a little bit at the beginning. How did Revelation Rain come together, and how was the name chosen?
Well, Grant and I had actually been in a band previously about a year and a half ago with two other guys. And that project did not work out. And so we were kind of on hiatus. And I decided that I still wanted to put original material out, despite not having a band. But I had recorded demos probably 5 years ago. And they were really good sounding demos. Yeah. So I put those up on Reverb Nation. And I didn't want to present it as just, these are Rob Robinson songs. So I just came up with if I had a band, this is what I would call it. And so Revelation Rain was obviously a tip of the hat to obviously the book of Revelation. And so I used that, Revelation Rain, put the songs up on Reverb Nation, and didn't expect a whole lot to happen. And all of a sudden, the songs were going everywhere. I was #1 first locally. I don't know if you've ever been on Reverb Nation, but
a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, it'll kind of gauge you based on your local region, and then regional, and then nationwide, and then worldwide. And pretty soon I was #1 in all of those except for worldwide. I was still in the top 10. And it was just interesting, some of the songs were taking off, and you can submit songs to Reverb Nation where they'll have peer reviews and whatever else. And they were getting these great feedback. So when Grant reached out to me again in February of this year and asked what I was up to, and told him that, no band, whatever else. And so he invited me down here to his house, and we decided to put a band back together. And I said, these songs are going over well. This name is getting out there. If we put a band together, I think we should stick with that, just because there's momentum already. And so Grant and I sat in this very room where we're at right now, and pretty much laid out an outline as to what we wanted in the next band. We weren't going to do cover tunes anymore. We wanted to do originals. We wanted guys that would have the same vision and goals that we had. And we wanted to have a very visual presentation. Being big Kiss fans, that was the mindset. So we laid out all these different things that we wanted to do, and we decided, before I left, that we would have our first rehearsal, just the two of us, the next weekend. This was March 6th. And
that was so long ago.
Yeah, March 6th. And 1 week later is when the whole state got shut down.
Yeah.
So we never had that second rehearsal. But we used the time to, we did, Zoom. Can I say Zoom on this platform? We used, yeah, some rivalry there. Anyway, yeah, we were using Zoom to do some meetings and to audition band members. And we were writing songs and kind of putting everything together. And then when the state kind of started to open back up in May, June, whatever it was, we reconvened down here. And I had reached out first to JT. He was on Reverb Nation. No, I'm sorry, Band Mix. I'm getting my platforms.
There's so many.
There are, and I'm on. It seemed like at the time I was on all of them, but so I reached out to JT on Band Mix, asked if he'd be interested in joining or coming down to audition for a band. He said yes. The three of us got together the following week. And what's funny is I gave him 3 of our original songs.
Yeah.
I said, learn these 3 songs, go on YouTube. I've done some instructional videos. You can see what the chords are, the changes, whatever. So he's like, all right, I'll do that. And so he came in and we played the 3 songs. He nailed them perfectly. And he's like, well, I was looking at these other 2 as well. Let's run through those. And we're like, okay. So we go, by the end of the night, we've gone through like 8 songs.
Yeah.
Because he was that far ahead.
And he knew them.
He knew them
very well.
Down pat, and probably knew them better than we did.
Yeah.
Because it'd been a while since we had played them.
It was, yeah.
All that.
So
no, he was terrific. We offered him the job right on the spot, and we were just like really hoping that he'd accept. I don't think he would have learned that many. So, oh no, I got another gig down the street. Yeah, sorry guys. You guys play well, but no, it worked out great.
It did. And what's funny is after that rehearsal, midweek, I found Marty, our bass player, on Band Mix. Contacted him, asked him to come in for an audition the next weekend, gave him the same 3 songs we'd given JT, and Marty comes in and had the songs down, nailed them, and then proceeded to lead us through 3 more of our own songs. So it was like
they were in on this together. I think they were in on this.
Yeah, somehow they conspired.
Yeah,
they were both on Band Mix, so there is a connection.
I think they're really brothers or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
His beard's too big.
Yeah. Beard envy.
Yeah, it was just so awesome, back-to-back auditions, and we're offering these guys jobs. I mean, it was awesome. We weren't expecting that. We thought that we were going to go through the grueling process of, bringing in musicians every week, and whoever stands out or does the best, we'll choose, that way. But it was so easy. We knew right then and there that we wanted JT, and the following week, Marty. It's like, okay, we got a band now, Rob. This was really quick.
It was. It happened fast, and it's a good thing, too, because Grant and I, being the type that always put the cart before the horse, we had already booked 2 shows.
Yeah.
When it was just the 2 of us.
Oh, by the way, yeah, you guys did in 2 weeks.
Yeah, once we had them both in the band, they made that commitment. We're like, oh, and by the way, we have a show in 2 weeks. So you've already learned 6 songs. Just learn another 14. You'll be okay.
I think we were more nervous than the 2 new guys were. They're like, "What are you guys nervous for? Come on, you guys can do this." They're giving us motivational speeches. Come on, your song.
Yeah.
So and that first gig went over gangbusters. It was great.
Yeah, it went really well. But that's pretty much how the band came together. It was kind of it rose out of the demise of another band that Grant and I had been in. And it's just been it's been a great ride ever since.
Yeah, it hasn't stopped either. Like you mentioned earlier, that we've been busy playing gigs, and feel very fortunate and blessed that we got those opportunities, because most local bands, national bands, haven't been doing much this year.
Yeah.
And we just been right place, right time, right people, and we're busy. So it's a good thing.
Absolutely.
It's very fortunate that there's still at least some select shows and events going on, and as you said, there's no national shows going on at all this whole year. After February and March, there really is nothing national going on.
Right.
I'm a concert goer, and so this is really surreal. I feel like something's missing. My sports are hacked up, and I didn't watch sports. Nothing. no concerts to go to this weekend.
No.
But Revelation Rain show is this Friday though.
Yeah.
Somewhere in Belding, but I heard. So.
Right.
And I got actually right here the copy of Revelation Rain
Beautiful.
that I've been listening to this week. And I kind of want to discuss, you guys' debut album. How was it writing and recording that album?
You guys take this one. I'll touch on the recording part.
You wrote more than I did.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
As far as writing the songs, I would say at least half of those songs are songs that I've had for about 30 years, and they're just now getting proper treatment. Some of those songs were the songs that I demoed back in 2015. So when Grant and I first got back together back in March, we knew that we wanted to go into the studio and record these songs. And so we, in our minds, had 10 songs picked out, because we had probably 15 to 20 that I already had done that we could choose from, and we narrowed it down to 10. Well, then when Marty and JT came into the band, well, they write songs too.
Good ones.
So now we've got an abundance of material. So now we're shuffling songs because we want to represent JT and Marty as well. So the track listing changed a couple of times, but I think for the better. I think it's a much more well-rounded record. Rather than just having one songwriter's perspective, you've got three. And even though Grant will say he doesn't write songs, I wouldn't say that's entirely accurate.
Maybe not lyrical content, but I mean, I play along to it, so I add my own kind of writing, if you will.
Yeah, but I think it's more than that too, because a lot of times, like for example, right off the top, the song "I Want You," which is track 9 on the disc, that whole drum intro, the way the song starts out, wasn't like that initially. If you listen to the demo, it starts off with the bass run, and then everybody comes in, and Grant said, well, what if we flip that, start off with the drums, have the bass come in, and then have everybody else come in? So to me, when you help with arrangements, that's in a way songwriting. I never
looked at it like that, but yeah, that's true, I guess. I mean, and
you're helping develop the song.
Yeah, and it's for the best of the song. It's best for the band. That's how I look at it, and I play what I hear along with. You know what I mean? So I guess that
everybody contributes. I would definitely, and that's what's great about this band, is that everybody can contribute and everybody is willing to contribute. And when we decided we were going to record, initially Grant and I, in our small minds, felt that we could do it ourselves. We'd save a few dollars and set up a studio of some sort here in his basement and record a CD.
I was agreeing with you guys too.
Well, yeah, and then JT came in and he's like, yeah, that sounds great. And then fortunately we have Marty, and he's not here, but he's kind of like
he's the wise old man Gandalf.
Yeah, he's Gandalf. So he's like, no, you shall not pass, or whatever.
Yeah.
And
I'll allow that.
Yeah, and said, no, what we need to do, guys, is get into a studio, and we need somebody to produce the record. And he talked to a guy that he knew, and he told us the price that it would cost, and we went back and forth, and we decided it'd be worth it. And it turned out for the best. We ended up recording at Soundfield Studio in Wyoming, Michigan, and the guy's name is Pete Bass, and phenomenal musician and excellent producer. And so that's the route we went. Great experience, and I've talked enough, so now I'm gonna hand it over to one of you guys.
Well,
with recording.
I've been in the studio before years and years ago with my old band back when I won't give my age. But this was a lot more. This was like a labor of love, and Rob and I. This goes back to like a year and a half. That we got together and started playing music together, and I knew that what Rob had was good enough. We got to record this stuff. It's really, really good. But it's always a great experience, getting the best out of you, out of drums, out of bass, out of guitar, singing. And Pete, being the legend that he is in this area, he did exactly that. He really got all like the best potential out of us he could. And we're all very proud of that record. And we know, listening to that record, that that's our best right there. And we've known the guy. Well, Marty knows him better than I do. I know of the legend, you know, and I've bumped into him a few times in the past. He's just multi, you know, talented drummer, guitarist, singer, and now I learned a producer over this past summer. But it was great. We hammered it out in 4 days. Believe it or not, we did a weekend marathon, and you know, the mixing took a couple extra days after that, but it was delivered. It was quick, and nothing got you know, there was no lacking in any department at all because of that rush or whatever. It was just the way that we wanted it, and it was perfect. We went way beyond our expectations. And you know, JT, you know, he's sitting over there all quiet and everything, but this guy, he shredded it on that disc, on that album. First takes, and he just blew our minds. And I'll go back to something real quick about what Rob said about like the other guys contributing songs and writing. We, as far as like choosing songs, that's a good problem to have when you have that many talented people in your band that, you know, hey, I got these songs and they contribute every week. It seems like we're learning new stuff, and that's great. I love that. And so it's not just on Rob or me or just one person. I mean, everybody contributes, and that's awesome. We're very passionate about this band, and this is awesome. So it's a good problem to have. You know, what songs we're gonna use? I don't know. Your song? No, your song? No, your song. So it's pretty good. And it alleviates some workload off Rob as well. But everybody's stuff is great. It's awesome. It's perfect for what we're trying to do. JT.
I talk with my guitar.
No.
It was my first studio experience.
Really?
Since the 90s. And yeah, it was great. It's fun. Loads of fun. Yeah. Lots of work that was definitely worth it.
We pretty much lived together for those 4 days too, you know.
Yeah, you snore way too damn loud.
Yeah. Hence the impending breakup and farewell tour.
Yeah.
And then reunion.
Right.
Well, I've been working on my review for this album. I've actually listened to about half of it so far.
Okay.
And I love the sound of it. Just that sound. I really don't know how to describe it right now, but like the whole band sound, to me, is just very professional and really amazing. And you guys should be proud of this album.
Well, thank you, Matthew.
Yeah,
That's
thank you
very
very
nice.
much.
Very kind.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now you got the other half to listen to now.
Yes, that'll be this weekend. I'm working on my notes and I'm working on my review, and I'm really digging it. Even just listening to the first half.
Nice. Good.
Awesome.
Yeah. To touch on a little bit on what Grant had said, like he'd said, we did it in a marathon weekend, the recording, and then 2 days mixing. And we did want to get it done as soon as possible because we had deadlines to meet. And obviously, the longer you're in a studio, the clock is ticking, the money up. But we didn't want to sacrifice quality. And we had the songs down so well that we did 2 or 3 takes of each song and then chose the best take. And what's nice is on all 3 of the takes, the guitar solos would be perfect. So it didn't matter which take we took, we didn't have to go back and redo guitar solos. The only overdubbing that we did was when we did lead and backing vocals, and then I added a 12-string guitar to Alone. That's the only overdub that we did. And I don't think that if we would have spent any more time on it, that the record would be any better by any means. I think sometimes you can labor too much over something and it loses an essence and it loses spontaneity. Yeah. And that's what we were looking at. And you held up a Motley Crue. I don't know if it was a shirt or whatever it was.
Wearing the shirt.
Yeah. And the album that I personally had in mind was the first Motley Crue album, Too Fast for Love. It's produced, but it's not overproduced. It sounds like they went in and they knocked the record out. It's just got a raw feel to it. And in the back of my head, I kept saying to the guys, that's the sound I'm looking for we want it to sound professional, but I don't want it to sound like what records in the late 80s sounded like Hysteria by Def Leppard. There's no way you can reproduce that stuff live.
No.
We wanted to be able to take the album and play it live in front of an audience, and people say they sound just like the record. And that's really, I think that's what we hit.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I really like the term raw, because that's like the best terminology I can use for this, just because that's what it sounds like, but it also has that produced side as well too. It's a very nice combination of both.
I agree.
Sure.
Yeah, I think we all agree on that. And there's diversity in those 10 songs in that lineup. You know, the track listing, and that's great too. You know, everybody, we have like a little bit of punk, you know, in What I Want You. A little bit of 80s hair metal, you know, but it's rock underneath, you know. But I just love what everyone was bringing, and we tightened them up, and Pete did a great job getting them all polished and you know, using his wisdom, you know, to get the best sound. And there's not like one specific genre on the album. It's not all over the place, but it's mixed, and I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're gonna do a record next year though.
We're always doing bluegrass.
Yeah, bluegrass. Yeah. No, but we're just really pleased with everything and how it went. Yeah, like Rob said, and we had these songs down, and they were, you know, pretty easy for us by then, you know, so it wasn't that hard to get the best sound out of us from those songs. And yeah, it's just I'm already ready to go back in the studio next year. You know, by then we'll probably have another record ready, maybe.
Yeah.
So.
I'm looking forward to this album, and I'm going to hold it one more time because I really want to talk about the cover art.
Sure.
I love it. So how is like the idea behind the cover art? How did that like come to be?
It's funny actually. We when we knew we were going to record a record, obviously you have to have an album cover, and so we were all kind of every so often just go online and look for ideas, you know, concept art. And I remember looking at different pieces of artwork, and of course I went to what I thought was public domain artwork that anyone can use for whatever reason, and there's no royalties that need to be paid or copyrights, whatever. And I remember the first one that I submitted, and I don't know where I thought.
Which one was this?
Yeah, I thought, man, this looks really familiar, but I can't place where I've seen it before.
Oh, yeah,
and I'm like,
JP.
this would be great. So I kind of do a mock-up of it, and I send it to everyone.
And you were the first.
Yeah, and JT's like, I'm pretty sure that's a Judas Priest album cover.
Ram it down.
It was Ram It Down. Yeah. And I'm like, no wonder that looks familiar.
I forgot all about it.
And I'm like, well, why is this under public domain? It can't be.
This is Rob Halford.
Yeah, Rob Halford.
For using our Ram It Down.
Yeah.
You know?
So I went to a different site that had public domain, and I made sure everything was public domain.
And not
You just typing in keywords like Revelation or, you know, Wrath of God, because I wanted to tie in obviously with Vengeance is Mine, and that popped up, and I double checked and triple checked to make sure it was nobody else's album
He
cover.
called the Library of Congress and
yeah, you know, calling the president and everybody else just to make sure. And it was clear, and so we took that art, and then I had a program to put, you know, our logo on there, and then obviously the album titles, and then submitted it to the guys, and everybody liked it, and so that's where it was. But I think visually it represents not only what our philosophical or even our moral projection is, but also it ties in well with, you know, Vengeance is Mine. Obviously, you know, I mean, there's two angels there, but you can see the wrath of God pouring down. So it all kind of tied in. It was I don't know, providential.
Yeah, it's supposed to happen that way.
Yeah.
Matthew, real quick, you haven't heard the second half of the album yet?
No, I think I'm up to actually I listened to the first three, sorry, yeah. I'm up to 11.
When you get to the last track, which was Vengeance is Mine, that's a heavy song. And it's beautiful but heavy. I'm just gonna kind of give you a little forewarning before you listen to it. But no, it's it's definitely got a lot of sentimental value to me and probably Rob. You know, when I think that was our first song that we learned together, going on 2 years ago. But it to me, that song is almost like a presentation, like a movie almost, where it's got an introduction and then it goes up to the climax, and then there's, and you know, like a light at the end of the tunnel, kind of like a happy ending kind of thing, you know. So it's like, I'm not going to give it away. You make up, you know, your own interpretation of it, but it's a great track. I think you'll like it. We saved the best for last on that one. So, and JT's vocals, you know, we did have dual vocals, I guess, in the original band, the first band that we were in together. But JT's growl, it's awesome. It adds such a great element to this band and our songs.
Yeah. Well, if you've listened to the first 3 songs and you've heard New Kind of Man, and most of those vocals are JT, all the heavier growling stuff. I'm just coming in on those one-liners. So it gives you an idea as to what JT can do. And on Vengeance's Mine, it's only amplified.
Yeah, I've heard that song probably a million times now, and it still like raises hairs. It's just such a moving song for me. All of the songs are really moving, but that one in particular really just hits home with me. And I hope the listeners, you know, get some whatever reaction like that as well. But yeah, that wasn't the Cookie Monster. That was JT doing the vocals on that.
Yeah.
If you slow the record down real slow, I mean, Cookie. Did you guys hear that?
Yeah. Well, if you can get your CD to play backward, you'll hear it.
Well, speaking of which,
I'm still waiting for my cookies too. I haven't got them yet.
Yeah. Well, the rumor is, and I haven't confirmed it, I haven't asked JT for sure, but I had heard that he gargles with razor blades. So that could be part of the reason why the voice is the way it is.
Bob cleaning up blood every night we rehearse here, so I don't know what's going on. I don't ask questions, man. I want to keep the band together. So
right. Hey, and speaking really quickly, and I thought something. Give you the link. Maybe I can get it to you. We're all big music fans, having been fans of music, I mean, since we were kids. And when we grew up, of course, at least for me, I was always buying vinyl albums. And as a kid, I always wanted to be a rock star. And I thought someday, you know, I'll have an album next to my Kiss records and my Quiet Riot albums and, you know, my Striper and whatever else. And so once we recorded this CD, we found a company that's working with us. And so Vengeance's Mine is going to be available on album, on actual vinyl. We have, no, I'll give you the link. I'll get you a link. People can go to the album on vinyl. And then once we're doing a run of 100, once we hit that 100 mark, they will press the albums and send them out to people directly. But it's a good way for people to, you know, for people that collect vinyl, if they want to have the, you know, the CD on album, there's a link they can go to and pre-order the record. It's going to sound great.
Yeah, we're all excited about that because, you know, we're all big vinyl enthusiasts. I am, and we talked about that. I think before we were in the studio, you know, wouldn't it be cool? Kind of pricey, you know. Maybe our next record when we come off the road with Bon Jovi in Europe or something. But no, Rob kind of surprised us with that a couple weeks ago. He always finds all this great stuff, you know.
Next step is to put it on 8-track.
Yeah, Reel to Reel is coming up.
Or cassette.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you know, he found this place, like he said, and it sounded too good to be true. And he showed me, and he's like, "It's legit. It's real."
Yeah.
And it's out of some guy's trunk over off the.
Right. Yeah.
He seemed like a nice guy, though.
They seem like a nice guy. Just don't ask names.
Yeah.
If you meet Revelation Rain behind a bar at midnight, you can get some vinyl.
Vinyl
and maybe a fist fight too.
Vinyl.
Right.
But, I did see you were teasing a big announcement. I think it was a couple weeks ago-ish, 2-3 weeks ago, and I saw the you guys have it on vinyl, which I think that's really cool. Especially, I mean, such a good album, and especially to have it on vinyl and CD. And I think that's very cool, and big props to you guys.
Thanks.
Yeah. Well, these are like big steps for us. You know, they're milestones internally. You know, they're like, you know, we feel like we've done everything we wanted to do, that we set out to do in a way. you know, and that's not bragging or being arrogant or anything. It just everything that well, for me, Rob, I envisioned this, you know, and this is what I wanted. And it's everything, it's all just fallen into place and happening quickly. And you know, this year has actually been pretty good to us, and not too many people can say that for 2020.
Yeah.
So we're constantly, you know, just very grateful for everything that God's given us, and 2021 is going to be a triumphant year as well. I have a good feeling about that. So,
yeah.
I guess anything else?
No. You spoke well.
I know we're talking a lot. You're only on like question 3.
Oh wait, I was going to have dinner.
Yeah.
What else you got?
I always ask my guests this question because you listed some great bands you have on vinyl. So I'm very curious, what music are you listening to this week?
This week,
mine is Elvis, and it's because I recently bought it's a 4 CD set. I'd actually owned this like years ago. It's not a new CD set by any means. It was put out probably 10 years ago, and somehow I lost it. So I ordered it again about a month ago, and it's excellent. It kind of encapsulates his entire career. It's a 4 CD set from 53 all the way up to 77.
Wow. He's the king.
And it's been in my truck for the past 3 weeks. And I was telling the guys the other day, you know, on the way to practice, you know, when I'm warming up the vocals, man, I've been singing along with Elvis, and I just can't think of anything better or anyone else, you know, to try to warm up with.
That is not funny. In fact, I got a story. What I'm listening to recently, or this week, it's Wednesday, right?
Is it Aqua still?
No.
Don't say that
so
on here.
Last week, bro.
Okay,
Seagulls, man.
good. Okay.
Why you gotta bring up the past?
I've been seagulls this week, you know.
No. There's something kind of funny that happened to one of our local radio stations here in Grand Rapids. Yeah. It used to be a classic rock station, you know, and it would be on my presets, you know, in my truck, and you know, I kind of go back and forth to whatever I'm listening to. But they recently changed their format, and at first I was like, wow, how dare they do that? You know, that's my classic rock. Well, I left it on, and it's oldies like Motown and 50s and 60s and 70s. I'm playing it in the garage, you know, working on projects in the car, you know. I can't get enough of it. And it's like I always knew it was there, but I just like, no, I'm a metal guy, you know, or metal guy. And I'm not just listening to Supremes. Oh yes, I am. And it's really, really good stuff. So it's like almost making me go back and look at this stuff and identify, you know, what I've been missing all this time. And it's where it all was born, you know. It was all like that Motown R&B stuff is awesome.
Yeah.
You know, they throw some disco in there. It's just something different. You know, I'm a metal guy all the way through, you know, and hard rock. But this really kind of scared me a little bit. Like, what's going on, man? You guys know any disco duck guys? You know, I got a song I want to introduce.
Yeah.
But you know, that's what's been constantly, you know, on my radio station. Or I don't have any Rick D's Disco Duck on album yet. But I'm looking for it.
No.
It'll happen soon.
So Matthew, if you know anybody who's got that Disco Duck album from '79, tell them I'll pay handsomely.
Well, you said you're also looking for Tommy Dorsey, but I've been looking.
Science.
We're gonna join a roll.
I can't get enough of our disc, and I'm not doing that just to plug us or our name or whatever. But I really am just constantly listening to it. I have it on iTunes, so I got it on my phone with the headphones, and I can't get enough of it. It's really just, I listen to it, and now it's just, I can't believe that's us. You know? It's just really, really good stuff. So,
how about you, JT? What are you listening to?
That's the last couple weeks.
Boy.
No, that was last month. Last couple weeks I've been through Saturn's entire catalog. Listened to all of that, and I take a break from that and go to Megadeth, Savage Messiah, and Sabaton. And then right back to Satriani.
Yeah,
there you go.
Right on. Yeah. Actually, I listened to Deep Fall, also from Grand Rapids, Lacuna Coil, and Tool.
And did you say Tool?
No, Lacuna Coil.
Oh,
Well,
I know. Yeah, Default. I know Rich.
Yep.
Rich Hawkins. Yeah, we actually kind of went to school together. I went to school with his sister. We're both like from Belding, and we much older. I think he may be like 5 years younger. But it's a funny story about Rich. Can I say this real quick? I think I told you guys about the Revolver magazine.
Yeah,
I get every quarter, I guess, every 3 months or whatever. And he was my cable guy. He worked for Charter Spectrum Cable, and he came out here years ago to cable down here in my basement, and we got to talking. And wow, yeah, I went to school with your sister. Yeah, I know you. I know your sister. Long story short, he don't work for cable anymore. He fronts Default. And I he told me that this band was taking off. You got to check out this band, and I did, and they were great. Well, about a year later, I get a Revolver magazine in the mail, and on the back few pages, they're like spotlights of new artists, new bands, merging out. Default was in this on this page. I'm like, that's my boy. That's my cable guy right there. And I thought, man, that is good for you, Rich. You guys made it. You guys did it, and I couldn't be more proud. So Default, and they are a great band. I've listened to them. They're
Yes.
really good. So, hometown boy makes good, and hopefully, there could be more than one.
Yeah, hopefully.
But no, I couldn't be more proud of Rich. His band's tight, and the songs are great. So, yeah, good band. Big shout out to Default.
Yeah. I love listening to their Broken EP. It was really good. And I got to see them with Alter Bridge. I got to play with Alter Bridge in February.
He with us for a little while too, as well. And if he's my cable guy again, man, then I know something went wrong.
Yeah.
Or maybe that's what he does in his off time. Writer's block. I'll just go sell some cable and install some cable.
Yeah.
Let me hook up some cable. I don't know what to write about.
Yeah, right. We'll know the new songs that are coming out. It's all like about cable stations and Nick Jr. and Access Television, National Geographic.
Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Our featured band of the week is Revelation Rain. Great time chatting with you guys. I got one more thing before we go. What are you guys' future plans for 2021, since it is like mid-November now?
Play.
Yeah.
I like that.
We're doing a live stream show from Legacy Music over in Belding, which is not too far from here. We're doing that this Friday. Then on the 28th of this month, which is a Saturday, we're playing a show in Jackson at a place called Music Box, and that's a show with 2 other bands. That's going to be a really big show. That's it's a hot spot for music in this area right now. So we'll be doing that. The goal is to keep lining up shows, and like Grant said earlier, we've been blessed in that even with everything that's gone on this year, we've been playing, averaging 2 or 3 shows every month, which isn't too bad. And then obviously, as we turn over into the new year, obviously, hopefully things will get better and we can get more live shows lined up. But we had talked before about hopefully having the next CD ready to go by the end of spring, early summer next year, just because we've got a backlog of songs now. We could probably put out a double album. So it's nice to have that problem, like Grant said. But when you've got songs lying around, you obviously want to get them out to people. So I would say that there'd be another CD coming out late spring, early summer of next year.
I can see that. Yeah, definitely.
And then obviously doing shows like this, which we appreciate. We've done some other interviews. Actually, next Friday, doing an interview out of Monroe, which is down by Detroit. So that's just stuff that helps to get the word out there. And when people play the songs, we've had a few radio stations and podcasts now that have been playing our songs, so it's catching on.
Yeah.
So we definitely appreciate shows like this that help indie bands like us.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Matthew, for doing this.
Of course, man. I mean, I really dig your music. Actually, my friend Aaron out of Grand Rapids actually was telling me about you guys. So
Studio talk,
he's a good dude. Good
Yep.
dude. He's been down here a couple times.
Yep.
yeah, he's a really great dude. Especially he does a lot for like up and coming bands in Grand Rapids.
Yeah. People like him and you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you guys so much. Featured band of the week, Revelation Rain, and now officially, I'm going to say this right now. This has been my longest interview for Super Cool Radio.
And your funnest interview.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for Revelation Rain of Rob, JT, and Grant. I am Matthew Thomas. Thank you for watching.